Hey guys, so today I'm here with a tutorial showing you how to jailbreak your iPhone, iPod Touch, or iPad on the latest iOS 4.3.1 firmware, and it's going to be an untethered jailbreak, which is definitely what you want. So before we begin, there's a couple of things I do want to go over really quickly here. The program we're going to be using is redsn0w. redsn0w is a very, very good program. Been using it forever, and it's now been, of course, updated to work on 4.3.1. Now, redsn0w is available for both Windows and Mac, so pretty much you should be covered across the board. So we can go ahead and just jump straight into the jailbreak. The only thing you're going to need in addition to the redsn0w is your firmware file, the IPSW for your device. Now I'll have a link in the description both to download redsn0w as well as if you don't know how to get your firmware file, you can either download it or you might already have it on your computer, but that's pretty simple. So of course check out the links in the description for all that kind of good stuff. Actually, let's close this out. One thing I do want to mention, if you're on Windows, if you're on a Mac, you don't have to bother with this, but if you're on Windows, you need to right-click the redsn0w, especially Windows 7 or Windows Vista. Come over to the compatibility and click Run this program in compatibility mode for Windows XP Service Pack 3. That will help. Some people have problems on Windows 7 as well as on Vista. So do that and also have it run this program as an administrator. So once you do that, it should run no problem and you shouldn't have any problems. And of course, if you're on Windows XP or on a Mac, you don't even have to worry about that. So we open it up. The first thing is it's going to want us to ask to browse for our firmware, so we can just do that. It'll take just a second to process the firmware. Once it successfully identifies the IPSW, we can click Next. Now it will take just a moment to prepare the jailbreak data and everything. One thing I do want to mention is that you of course need to be on iOS 4.3.1 for the jailbreak. It should be pretty obvious, but if you're on some earlier firmware, you do need to update via iTunes and then run redsn0w. Or of course if you're already on 4.3.1, you're going to be good to go. Again, that's pretty obvious, but I do want to make sure that you guys are not trying to jailbreak the wrong firmware or something a little bit silly like that. So we're almost done here. There we go. And now it's going to provide us with a few options. Now this will vary a little bit between, if you have an iPod or an iPad or whatever. The most important thing is to make sure that you can install Cydia. That's obviously the whole goal of this is. You can install custom bundles, but that's only if you know what you're doing. That's not really necessary for most people. If you have an iPod Touch, you can enable battery percentage, so you definitely want to do that. It also has options to boot tethered if you had a tethered jailbreak, but of course that's not what this is, so we don't need to worry about that. So now we can click Next and we can go on to the next step. Okay, so the next step is to run the program itself. Now before we begin, there is one thing I do recommend, is plug your device in via USB and allow it to fully sync with iTunes. Now by doing this, you will back up all of your data, your apps, your contacts, all that kind of good stuff will be all backed up in iTunes. Now while you should not lose any data in the jailbreak, there's always a possibility of something going wrong, and by doing that you're going to be good to go. You don't have to worry about any of that stuff. So once you've done that, just go ahead and turn your device off. I've already done that. Just hold the power button, slide the power off, just make sure the pinwheel stops spinning, all that kind of stuff, and we'll be good to go. Next step is to put it into DFU mode. Now I will show you guys how to do it, but there's also a countdown, so we can do that really quickly here. So we'll just start holding the power button for 3 seconds, and start holding the home button as well. And we do the power and the home for 10 seconds, and then we're going to release the power button. So of course we allow the program to just count us down, and so give it just a moment and then let redsn0w do its magic. So there we go. So it's going to go ahead and run through the whole program, and I'll be right back as soon as it's done. Alright, so as you guys can see here, that only just took a moment. And if we scroll to our last page, we will now see Cydia. So if we open it up, we wait for it to stop hanging, and then we'll open it up. There we go. It will say preparing file system. Cydia will exit when complete. So there we go, guys. That's it. That's a quick and easy way to jailbreak your iPhone, iPod Touch, or iPad on iOS 4.3.1. So now, guys, if you found this tutorial helpful, be sure to subscribe right up above, and you will be notified with all my new videos, jailbreaking, all that kind of good stuff. And of course, if you had any questions or comments, feel free to leave them in the comments below, and I will do my best to help you out as best I can.